Oop, that's not on. Hi, everybody. This is day 1952, and we are coming on very late. Thank you for tuning in. It's almost 2,000 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, the epicenter of everything, really the epicenter of everything. That's why so many things connect to Richard's case, because it's the epicenter of all this criminal trafficking, and all the corroborations are absolutely coming out, and we're going to piece some of those things together for you. So thank you, Laura, thank you. Richard was taken to the arms room where on Fort Bliss, and his life was taken because he was a whistleblower. And all of that is being corroborated now because of all the criminal trafficking. And I want to thank everybody for all of the information that they have that you send in. You might not see everything going on, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, because that's why I'm coming on so late, because of all of the reports that we're filing. That's really, really important for everyone to know, that we do look at everything that you're sending us, and we're reporting. We're putting things together, and we're reporting to stop this criminal trafficking, to stop this cartel infiltration, and committing the worst type of crimes against children, the worst type of crimes against women, the worst type of crimes against family and against men, because of the attack against legitimate businesses, because of all the money laundering, LLCs, and all of that involved. This is pretty well. It's the epicenter. It's where a lot of money, is made illegally, and you see that with El Mayo's plea deal. Forfeiture of $15 billion. You can just see the vast amount of money that's involved here. And of course, we have him being betrayed by, El Chapo's people. But El Chapo's people weren't alone doing this, right? Because of this plane. And we really want everybody's take on which, businessman there in El Paso that has a plane could be involved in this, could be involved in the betrayal of El Mayo. Now, are we on the side of El Mayo? Are we, defending him? No, but because the extradition laws were ignored, because a private plane was used in connection with a businessman in El Paso, helping El Chapo son betray El Mayo and kidnap him, drug him, get him on that plane, bring him into the United States without following laws, right? Without following laws, so that anybody, anywhere, if they have a private plane, can go and kidnap someone, can go and drug them, right? And fly them internationally, and say it's okay, that's legitimate. That's not legitimate. Okay, that's not right. And so there's a real problem about what happened to El Mayo. And am I defending El Mayo? I'm not defending El Mayo. I'm defending the rule of law. From the very beginning of all of this, we have said we need to follow the rule of law, and it hasn't been followed at all. And Richard, because I'm his mother, I taught him follow the rule of law, right? because if we don't, we're just in chaos. And of course, that's where he got his bravery from. And he was standing up for the rule of law. And that's why he received the in the line of duty designation. Because, and of course, um, we're so proud of him that he could stand up to the the entrapments, right? The entrapments of what was going on Fort Bliss, all the drugs, the co-ed barracks. Who in the heck thought that one up? I mean, I, I hope that Pete Hegseth will stop that. Will stop that because this is how young um, soldiers are targeted, and they bring in the 14-year-old girls into the barracks. 4 months. 4 months, it was confirmed. 4 months, this 14-year-old girl was brought into the barracks to compromise the soldiers, right? And then you have stories like Asia Graham, where she was that big R word, right? And when she went to go um, when she complained about it, they moved the perpetrator right next door to her, right in the barracks. So that is, uh, and I can't tell you how many other stories that uh, we have heard from soldiers about, the environment, the being set up for failure for our soldiers in their barracks on post. And because the standard operating procedures were not followed, the laws were not followed, the regulations were not followed. And so many people were targeted and got hurt. And then you have crisis pregnancies, right? Then you have the battering. Then you have even mothers with children that are battered or in crisis pregnancy. And, and then you can find uh, individuals, monsters like Martha Aguilar Mendez. Well, her name is Martha Mendez Aguilar, um, doing the most horrible things, and with the organ harvesting, with the illegal C sections. Um, and when you have that kind of marketing, then you need security, and so then you need a lot of weapons, and then you have what just happened today, and this whole CGNG, which is the cartel new generation, right? That this Martha Mendez Aguilar uh, was, the lieutenant or whatever she was in that cartel. Um, this is this illicit, not following the rules, not following regulations, allows the likes of El Mayo to grow so big that when they want to forfeiture some of his money, it's $15 billion, right? 15 billion, you know. Um, and his brother and the brother's family is still operating, right? It didn't end the Sinaloa El Mayo faction. Um, so that tells you that the drugs going in, the weapons going out, um, and all of the other illicit activities, uh, is going on, right? And so there's a lot of arrests. And of course, we have DEA agent Cartel, which is DEA agent Campo, um, was just arrested for, absolutely um, corroborating everything Richard was whistleblowing on. Um, and he was just set up in a sting, right, of agents posing as cartel members of CGNG, the same cartel as Martha Mendez Aguilar, the Diabla, right? La Diabla. Um, and this former DEA agent, Mr. Cartel, Campo, um, he was saying, I can get you um, ARs, uh, M4s, um, drones, um, explosives, uh, those launchers, right? I'm doing this all by memory. Um, he was trying to do business, providing this cartel group that is designated a foreign terroristic organization. Um, he was wanting to go in business with them, knowing, knowing. I think he knew because it's been a while, even though it was recent, that Martha Mendez Aguilar was arrested for these illegal C-sections and um, the organ harvesting, right? Selling these babies to the homosexual community in the United States, and um, of course the organs on the black market, or with connections to already hospitals and things, being a supply pipeline. Um, this is uh, when Richard said it's really bad, he really meant it was really bad. And to have this like Fast and Furious, because if he's promising military grade weapons and explosives. Well, where are you going to get those from? You're going to get them from Fort Bliss, and you have to have uh, leadership, people in leadership roles, and on the base, right? Like Thomas Kane, who are compromised. Thomas Kane was totally in this because he was so compromised, and he was the director of emergency services, right? Director of emergency services. So we know that there were individuals in high positions, and I would say, because I know that they're treasonous already, I would say Clem Coward, right? This Major General Clem Coward. I would say David Stewart. I would say Sean Bernabe. I would say um, Eisenhower, right? Major Eisenhower. And even Taylor, maybe even Taylor now. And of course, Matlock, right? I don't talk about Matlock very often, but he is definitely on the list of compromised generals. And then, of course, you have to have their supporters to do these very enormous criminal, fast and furious type crimes. But I know that they are absolutely up to no good, because look at the way they kept the barracks. Look at the way they put our volunteer sons and daughters at such risk, and at such in the hands of these cartel cronies, right? These cartel cronies. Um, so absolutely, this arrest of this former DEA agent who was, served under Obama, right? And he retired in 2016. Um, and here he is. corroborating the fact that we have former agents and former generals that are trying to get jobs with foreign terroristic organizations. And that corroborates General John Kelly. That's a 4-star general, right? Marine general. That we have confirmation that he went and worked for Maru Campos, which that she's in the news too again, right? And I'll get to that in a second. But but General John Kelly went and worked for her as a security advisor without telling the United States, and profited off of these uh, camp supplies, creating a camp for migrants, for really for children, for the children. And we know that the children were not treated well, right? Because they're missing, and most of them are not no longer alive. And we know that the Pan Party is part of El Chapo's, um, the Chapitos faction of the cartel that are absolutely up to no good, right? And that her mother, the governor Maru Campos's mother, um, was the overseer of regulations and that for Plenitude Crematorium for health, right? And I'm going to post on this. Still working on it, uh, but now she's in the news as the governor is, as the worst rated governor in Mexico. She's the worst. That's saying something because there's a lot that are no good, and she is the worst. And it's because of her mother's involvement, connection with the Plenitude Crematorium, narco crematorium, and that also, it's out there that Martha Mendez Aguilar was committing these atrocities, total atrocities against women and children, women and children. And this whole organ harvesting, it's really sickening to think that there is a pipeline for that, that will go into the United States, and that there's a pipeline for these children into the United States, that there's creating a demand for it, right? Because there's no oversight, there's no accountability, there's no going to the very beginning of our conversation, the following the rule of law and enforcing the rule of law. And that's the whole problem with this El Mayo um, sabotage. It was a sabotage. It wasn't a lawful arrest of El Mayo. It was an unlawful sabotage, um, kidnapping, drugging, landing on American soil without notification. And this was done by an American and El Paso businessman. And, who do you think that is? Who do you think has a plane, right? There's not that many businessmen in El Paso that have planes, so you can narrow it down pretty quickly. Um, so, the poll that Governor Maru Campos is the worst, I'll put that up. And then, of course, we have, gosh, we have so much breaking news. I want to say happy St. Nicholas Day and bring some goodness in all of this, because he's a protector of children. And please pray on this special day, where we remember, where, got a little knock on the door saying, don't forget, December 6th, we need to remember to constantly pray every day for our children, for their safety, for their growth, for their maturity to come, and know how to uh, follow God. And when you follow God, you follow the Ten Commandments, and these really, uh, it really is something to see so many of these organizations that are involved in the worst type of crimes against women and children and families, and any kind of legitimate business, um, eh, uh, do the most atrocious crimes. So under the guise of Christianity, or and think that they can uh, save themselves. But you can, sorry, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead, and so they're going to meet a really bad end. I can tell you that much. So because God says it, not because of me. Okay, because God says it. Um, there's a lot going on because posts that we're putting up is getting lots of views. Lots of the posts that we're putting up is getting lots of views, and we're following all of that very closely. And some of, there's a lot being told by postings, and we just want to thank everybody for giving us all of those tips, because we're acting on them. Okay, I just want to make sure that people know that we're acting on them. And um, so if you don't see a post up or whatever, it's not because we're not acting on them. Um, that is absolutely happening. Okay. Other developments. There's so many other developments. I can tell you that Dallas Hart is not doing well at all. Okay. He's not doing well at all. Um, yeah. So, and I will give you more information on that. Um, but just know that he is the prime suspect in taking our son's life. Okay, he is the prime suspect of the prime suspects. Yes, Tavita Nusa is a prime suspect. Yes, Leilani Hart is a prime suspect. But Dallas Hart is the prime suspect of the prime suspect of taking our son's life. So for him to not do well means that all of our labor is it's working. It's working. And so we want to thank everybody for that, and sticking with us for so long, because it seems like it takes a long time, but uh, you know, in God's timing, it's not, and He is absolutely exposing so much more than what we ever thought of at the beginning. And so we're being very patient, and but not just sitting on our hands. We are working our tails off, and that's why I'm coming on so late, right? That's and I'm sorry that you don't get the full best of me during the day, but we are sharp. We are on this. We are filing. What Richard reported on was absolutely right. People need to know that it came before the Walmart mass shooting, that the Walmart mass shooting was in response to Richard Halliday, to President Trump. And that's why the Walmart mass shooting absolutely was framed to falsely target President Trump, to stop his rise in uh, in popularity when it came to uh, securing our border. And Richard was a key to that, because he was the federal whistleblower. He corroborated that President Trump was right. And so the Walmart mass shooting was absolutely, uh, it had many different, it was absolutely bloody. I want to make sure that people know that uh, individuals tied to the cartel were targeted. Um, it wasn't about white supremacy. It was about anybody that was a whistleblower. I believe, or um, and because the individuals definitely tied to the cartel, the victims, many of the victims, um, uh, and yeah, that's really heartbreaking, right? To know that. Um, but it was absolutely, that corroborates that they were trying to preserve their criminal trafficking at any cost, at any cost. Um, I've seen the pictures of Maria Eugenia. I've seen the pictures of Alexander Hoffman. I've seen the pictures of uh, what is his name? Guillermo, Memo Garcia. His real name is a little difficult for me to pronounce. I need to practice it. But Memo Garcia, and the people around him. Um, those are, and of course, the Enchando couple. And, y- you know, the evidence is absolutely not, does not go along with the narrative that they wanted us to believe. And so, abs- absolutely, there's no doubt in our mind that this was a targeting of certain individuals, but especially President Trump. The election, they wanted to stop that, um, stop his rise. And then after that happened, and the Walmart mass shooting was on the birthday of Dallas Hart, which is really odd. Don't you think that that's odd? That Dallas Hart's birthday is August 3rd, right? And that's the day of the Walmart mass shooting, right? I think that that is, in 2019, I think that's odd. Um, and and Richard's unit is absolutely connected to the Walmart mass shooting. Okay, there's individuals in the unit and the chain of command that are absolutely connected to the Walmart mass shooting. That's why our information, I think it's all going to come out because look, they just got this former DEA, right? That totally corroborates this Fast and Furious thing with explosives, right? With CGNG, right? That is huge. And then you have the article that I just read um, about Mario Campos and her being dead last, the the most hated governor, right? She's the most hated governor in Mexico. And it's because, and this article said it, not because I said it, of her mother's involvement in the Plenitude Crematorium and this CGNG La Diabla organ harvesting, that it's because of this organ harvesting network. This is what the article said, and I just uh, need to put out a post on it because it is so. It's like, well, it just tells you that everything is coming together, that all of this is being revealed, and that the perpetrators are being exposed. and keep praying, and we'll keep working. And if you know something, and say something. And it seems that a lot of people are starting to feel that they're not alone, that we're with them, and that they can speak out because the information is flowing in like crazy. So I just want to say thank you again for that. Keep that up. These thugs, well, they're monsters, really. They're monsters. Um, are can only operate with the deception that they could get away with it, that they could break the law, that they could not follow regulations, that they could intimidate, that they could, get away with everything. And that they're above the law, right? And but the people are. It's kind of like that child's story about all the little fish, right? You have this real monster shark kind of fish, and terrifying all the little fish until the little fish realize that there's more little fish than this big monster, and that they get together and form a much, much bigger power, a big power, big force. And the monster has no chance at all. And that's why we come on every day to let you know that together we have a lot of power, and we need the truth behind us. And the truth then gives us courage, right? When we know what the hell happened in the Walmart mass shooting case, what the hell happened with Richard Halliday, what the hell happened with this La Diabla, who did it, who let her do this, right? Who is letting um, uh, women be targeted? Who is letting children being targeted? Um, who is letting these weapons leave the Fort Bliss um, installation and get into the hands of foreign terroristic organizations, right? Once we have those answers, or who owned that plane that worked with El Chapo's son to um, abduct, drug, uh, El Mayo illegally, and not follow extradition laws, not do it the right way, because they wanted to control who was getting El Mayo, who got the interview, or who got the file then, and or um, have access to the file. You see what I'm saying? Uh, this was a dirty job. This was a very dirty job. And we needed to get El Mayo, of course, but we need to do it right. And this is the thing with, oh, yeah, we got open records today again with James Bonneau Montoya. Uh, y'all, you wouldn't even believe it. And I'll post on that hopefully today. Um, it is just, he's just not, um, he's not a legal DA. He is absolutely an imposter. Uh, and we have the proof. I can say James Bonneau Montoya is an imposter. He is a fake DA, and not be afraid, because I have proof. And that's the truth, and that truth gives you courage, you see. It gives you courage because you can speak the truth, because you have the receipts. And that's why we need to know the truth, so that we can absolutely expose all these monsters that are doing the worst things. Just think, James Bonneau Montoya is supposed to be the prosecutor, right? He is uh, road blocking the prosecutor's seat. There's no prosecutor right now because he's a fake one. So he's just blocking any prosecution. And so when people say, why aren't there any arrests? It's because we have infiltrated, we have monsters that have infiltrated our prosecutor's office. And and that's why, that truth needs to get out there. So please repeat that over and over and over again, so that James Bonneau Montoya will be arrested. He needs to be arrested and get the hell out of there. And then someone legitimate that has a legitimate individual needs to take that place and start prosecuting. And uh, that's what we need. Absolutely. So we have a lot to post and a lot more filing, a lot more open records. We have to do it. So thank you so much. Even if it's at 1:36 in the morning, we've got to do it because children are being hurt. Women are being hurt in the worst way. Can you imagine these illegal C-sections? Can you imagine? Um, and you have these illegal judges that let battered women um, uh, have to share their children with the batterers. I mean, it's just the stories are just uh, it's insane. It's like insanity. You could only describe it by saying it's satanic, it's demonic, right? So we're working very hard, long hours, to stop that, to stop these monsters, and to get our sons' remains. Um, we're absolutely confident that that is going to absolutely happen, and we'll see. We'll see how soon it is, right? So thank you so much. Thank you, Laura, for coming on so late at night. And God bless you all. And happy St. Nicholas Day. He is a uh, patron saint of protecting children. And so, yeah, you're reminded today to continue to work hard and pray. To pray is to do is to pray for our children. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I'll be back.